Hello friends, Adam here with FED. I'm going to have some footage of Radiant Dawn Endgame on screen, so if you don't want that to be spoiled for you for whatever reason, then you should probably just listen, don't watch, Open another tab. But I wanted to talk about the Radiant Dawn Sabotage run. Honestly, it was super fun. Probably the most fun I've had playing Radiant Dawn since my first few times through it. It was a blast. We just played on normal mode, and for those who don't know what the chat sabotage run really was, people could donate to the channel to mess with the game, essentially. So you could make me use characters, you could make me kill characters, you could ban characters, you could choose forges for certain characters and name them and stuff. It was a lot of fun, and we are going to do some more of that with Fates actually on Friday, and there's even more options there. It's going to be a blast. But I think I wanted to just kind of go over some of my favorite moments, or not even my favorite moments, just like my favorite units, like a new appreciation I have for using crappy units, because that's what this run really taught me. I tend to just kind of use the units that are easiest when I play through Fire Emblems. It's pretty rare now that I go through a game and say, oh, I'm going to take this unit that's honestly kind of bad and make them good. I used to do it all the time. I used to think it was really fun to take units like Rebecca or I don't know, name other archers, mainly archers, because I used to really like archers. Take archers that are honestly not as good as other units and just make them really good for fun, Like Rolf is one of my favorite units of all time, especially now after this run. So real quick, I'm going to name the units that were forced, and I hope I have, I'm going to try and find the screens. I'm going to show their end game stats on the screen. So we were forced, I believe, I think I have the right order for the order in which they were forced. So we had Meg was forced, then Fiona, and then I believe next was Astrid, and then Mist, Rolf, Liar, and then Nephany, I believe, and then Vika, Ileana, and Leonardo were all kind of like the same time. At the end, when they were all basically like Leonardo and Ileana, when they were forced, they were tier 1 in part 4 or like at the end of part 3. They were really bad. So it took a lot of work to get them to be usable, but man, I had so much fun using characters. I've used all of these characters except for Vika and Liar at least once in a playthrough, but this is my first time taking all of these bad units at the same time into the tower, essentially, taking them to the end game. It's one thing to take one unit that is hard to train and one unit that is honestly less than other units, but it's a whole nother thing to not be allowed to take in like Tabarn, Kanagas, Gifka, Nisala, or Nyla, like any of the royals. All the Herons were banned for me too, and I just had to rely on on the force that is Meg, Liar, Astrid, Nephany, all these different characters. Now, I think my star performer of the group, throughout the entire playthrough, the star performer, I think, again, most impressive throughout the entire playthrough, probably, like, it's hard to say. Early game is definitely Meg. Mid game, it was definitely Fiona. Fiona really turned out really good by the time we got her to tier 3, which is kind of what happens with everybody. They get good at tier 3. But end game, the star was Rolf. Rolf, once you got the double bow, he was just a monster. I gave him parity for some of the bosses and was able just to really jack some dudes up, and it was really fun. I think the unit that I least liked, but I still found a use for, funny enough, was Vika. So Vika ended up, I think she's like level 30 or 31 by the end. Horrible. She did 0 damage to like everything until I just gave her a bunch of bonus experience, and she was able to she had like 30 strength by the end, I think. But she only had A strike, which means her Lagu's weapon was only A rank, which means that's like 8. It's like 8 might, which is really bad for endgame. So she was dealing like 0 times 2 pretty much the entire time. But her speed was like 44 when transformed or something like that, or 42 when transformed, something like that. It was capped. And her luck was capped, I think, too. So she or close to it. She just dodged everything, which is really fun. Not gonna lie. So I actually used her to hold an entire side of dragons at bay. She couldn't kill them, but they couldn't hit her. They all had like less than 10 hits. So even when her biorhythm was bad. So it was really funny and fun to use that way. I think the biggest surprise unit for me, the unit that came out and actually did something that I did not think was going to do anything, was Leonardo. Again, Leonardo got forced on me to use in I think beginning of part 4 or at the end of part 3, either one, and he was tier 1, like level 5, right? By endgame, he was like I think he's like level 8 marksman or something like that, and just horrible stats spread, really. His strength was decent, his skill, I think he ended up capping skill by the end, but his speed was like 22, but luckily he has the Lunasa, which is his special bow that gives him +5 speed, which was like really like the only thing that kept him from getting doubled, so we blessed that. But also we gave him Dragon Bane or Dragon Foe, which is a skill that makes all of your attacks effective against dragons. And in endgame part 3, it's nothing but dragons. So I just like gave him a Akar or whatever, the 34 might crossbow, and he was just one-shotting white dragons all over the place and two-shotting red dragons. It was really cool. It's not something every unit can do. So that was like a use I got out of him. So he normally wouldn't kill things, but we could get him to kill things on the dragon map, so he was really useful there. So, actually, I think the unit that I am most impressed with from beginning to end was Liar. I've never used Liar in a playthrough. She just seemed really bad, and she is. Don't get me wrong. Her base stats are horrendous. Like, they're so bad. She'll be dealing, 2-3 damage. She'll double everything, but she'll be doing 2 or 3 damage for a long time. We got her to SS Strike, so she had an 18 might weapon. She capped strength by the end. She capped speed and skill, and she was insane. So she could naturally double the auras. She was the only person on my team that could naturally double auras without White Tide, which is a dragon skill that gives 5 speed when the dragon is next to the attacking unit. Anyways, she had 40 speed, so she's my only unit that could natively double, besides Vika, but Vika did 0 damage. But the Liar could natively double the auras, and I gave her parity, so I used her to just totally jack up the auras that were on cover tiles, so she would double them. And, it's not like she's like Tabarn or Kanegas or Gifka or something, but she would deal like 60 damage or something, so she was doing pretty good, and really fun to use, honestly. So I have like this newfound respect for units that are bad. I think that's the biggest thing that came out of this. It's fine to use units who are bad, and honestly, it's kind of fun sometimes. So I would suggest giving it a shot. Play through Radiant Dawn, play through Path of Radiance. Use characters that you think are just bad, and maybe they'll surprise you. It's honestly pretty fun. And Path of Radiance and Radiant Dawn are good ones to do it with because bonus experience is so plentiful, and it allows you just to level up units without them having to do anything. So yeah, try it, guys. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. But those are just my thoughts on the Radiant Dawn Sabotage run. It was a blast. I'm excited to do it with other games. Again, we're starting Fates tomorrow, Conquest, and there's going to be tons of options. You're going to be able to change player units to any class you want, literally anything, even enemy-only stuff. Every skill is available, and you can put those on any character. There's even like a really messed up skill called Self-Destruct, which once your unit gets below 50% HP, they just explode. So it essentially halves their health bar, and that's a special incentive you can donate for. Of course, you can force characters. There's even some really fun things we're gonna see if it works, where you can make a unit have -20 accuracy or like -20 avoid, just natively. They just have that as a problem, and you can like force that on them. There are so many things to do, and it's gonna be a blast. And I hope you all tune in for it. But yeah, thanks for everyone who donated and watched the Radiant Dawn streams. It was a blast. I'm glad we went all the way through. And, man, it was just a good time. But anyways, subscribe for more of this content. Like the video, helps with visibility. And I'll catch you next time, guys. Thanks for watching.